side first.
HTP episode 11. Welcome.
It's your boy Feast. We're back. Today I want to have a brief conversation with you guys about the power of words. Now recently, I've been in a position to be able to rub some elbows, so to speak, with some very high up people, some very important people, have a little bit of conversation, and to kind of just watch them as they do the things that they love to do, the things that they do best. And because of that, I kind of just want to talk about it a little bit. First things first, man. Understand the power of words in your conversations and the power of the words and the people around you. As I'm sitting around these people that I'm never really around, but again, I had the opportunity to be around them. The first thing you notice is not only the way they carry themselves, but the way they speak. Right? These people that I'm referring to, they're very successful and they speak as if they're very successful. What you learn is that the level of success that they speak of is a level of success they speak to. So everything that comes out of them is generated and pushing the thing that it is that they want to get accomplished, or the thing that they are currently accomplishing. Not only do they speak about it in that way, the diction in their tone, these stories they tell, the conviction in the words, like you're sitting around these people and it's hard to not understand what it is that they want to do. A lot of times we talk to people and we hear people and they speak a certain way, but there's a lot of trepidation. There's a whole lot of pause in their conversation. And with certain people, well, these people that I'm around, there isn't any of that. I learned that very quickly. I sat in a room, and this room that I was in was maybe 60 people, 70 people, maybe. I'm a fly on the wall. This isn't an environment that I'm always in. It's an environment that I went to. Wife wanted me to go. I said, hey, you know what? Let's go. Get dressed. I like to get dressed up. Go to this place, sit down. And I'm not the ultimate skeptic, but I'm definitely not the gun-ho, like, hey, like, let's just go sit here and just listen to some people speak. And as I sat there, the first 10 minutes, I found myself being drawn into a conversation that had nothing to do with me. Not because of interest or not because of I'm supposed to be paying attention, but because I am not used to people speaking about a goal as if the goal is already done. I'm not used to that. And if you're watching this, I'm almost guaranteeing that you haven't been through that either. You haven't been in a situation where the thing that they're speaking about is a work in progress. But it sounds so strongly, and these people believe in this thing so strongly that you believe it for them. You're like, damn, like, I don't know what's going on with them, but they're going to make it to whatever that ultimate goal is. Right? The belief is strong. The belief is there. Don't matter. They don't even care if you believe it. Like, they believe it, and that's all that matters. Well, I'm sitting in this room and I'm hanging out and I'm looking around. I find myself kind of, my wife calls me a green. So I guess that's an analytical style person. So for me, I like to kind of sit back, watch, and kind of get a full picture, I guess, an understanding of what's going on around me. And then I take that information and then I do whatever I need to do with that information. I found myself sitting around this room and looking around this room as these people were getting up to the front of the room and they were speaking. And the looks on the people's faces, the excitement of the people that are watching this as well, it just kind of, it's mind blowing because they called up different people and gave them little awards, and some of them were given the opportunity to tell a little bit of a story that they had, and some of them were able to speak a little bit. And even in them, these people who are not as successful as these main people that I'm referring to, even in them, you can hear that level of belief, that level of conviction in what they speak about. Even with their backstory, they speak about the backstory as if it's just water under the bridge, right? It's not the hindrance that us regular people may look at it as and go, you know what, man, God dog it, I had a story and that story is holding me back. No, like that's not how these people speak. These people speak as if you're along for the ride, come on. If you're not, find you something else to do. And it's very contagious. Maybe not for everybody, but for somebody like me who has an understanding that there is better, striving for better actively all the time, right? Like it's almost a challenge in a way to me in my brain. The way my brain works is sometimes I have to be stimulated by a challenge, right? Like I can go out here and do whatever you need me to do. The easiest way to get me to do something is to tell me that I can't do it, and then I'll figure out a way to do it. Now, I may stumble along the way, but the effort is going to get put in the direction of success, And so, again, I'm sitting in this room and we're just sitting around talking and, I'm able to kind of watch, right? Once they leave the front of the room, I'm able to watch them walk around and interact with people. I'm watching, kind of being a fly on the wall and listening to somewhat of the side conversation off to the side, and things like that. And even off the stage, off to the side, there's so much belief and there is so much support and there is so much belief in others that these main people have that it's very hard to find a way to deter them from that, if any. I don't think there is. Yeah, I don't think there is. I've been around people who've been successful. I've never been around people who have believed they were successful before they became successful. I've never been around that consistently. I've been around a couple people, but to the level that these people speak, to the level which these people act, I've never been around it. I've never been around it. I left that little meeting dumbfounded. Not in a bad way, dumbfounded in a good way, because it tells me, and it just further informs me that like there is more work to do. For whoever's out there who may watch this, like there is always more work to do. The hard part is just getting yourself to understand that there's more work to do, right? Because their level of success may be attached to a milestone. And from listening to these people speak, because there's guys and there's women involved in what I'm speaking of, so I don't want to say man or just woman or whatever, but these people that I've been speaking to or I've spoken to, I'll say that. It all seems as though their ultimate goal isn't attached to a dollar amount, which is very important. You never hear them speak about, hey, when I get here, I'm going to make this. I've never heard it. And I've been to 2 of these meetings now, one by myself, just to kind of double check to see if what I saw the first time, what I heard the first time was real. And I came away with the same idea. Not one time did I hear them say, hey, look, like, hey, we gotta get on the ball so we can make this. It's like, no, they're chasing the goal. The money is the byproduct of achieving the goal. And a lot of times, us as regular people who have bills and who may have other things going on, we find ourselves chasing the money so much that we never actually achieve the goal. We may hit it out the park at this one job or this one situation, and then if that job doesn't work out the way we wanted to, now we're back to square one because we had this home run over here. We thought that we were going to stay up here forever, based on whatever reason, and then we had to take some steps back to kind of work our way back up, right? Because we're chasing the money, we're not chasing the goal, right? And the goal is the only thing that should matter, not the money. The money's coming. If I'm doing something that I love enough, or I'm doing something that I like enough, or I'm doing something that I feel fulfilled in, right? It's going to come, whether I want it to or not. It's going to come. It is, because it's not about belief in what other people think. It's about belief in what I want to do, or what I'm comfortable doing, or uncomfortable doing, because a lot of success comes in uncomfortability, right? Let's talk about it. But the conviction and the action behind that conviction is what makes all the difference. I can say I like something all day, but if I'm not actively out here doing it, or if I'm not actively trying to find a way to go do it, then do I really like it? Do I really love that thing? Right? So it's a very surreal experience to kind of be in a situation where you're around people who literally have a completely different view than you, and you happen to walk into it on accident. My wife would tell me all the time, she'd go, "Hey, I want you to go with me to these meetings. I want you to just go listen. Like, they kind of sound like you." And I'd be like, like, yeah, I'm gonna go to one. You know what I mean? No problem. And I finally went to one. And from that moment, this thing's just been sitting in my brain, just kind of this conversation's been festering, and for me, I feel like I need to get it out, because at the same time, like, I remember not too long ago in a video, I said, hey, like you are going to be the sum of the people that you talk to for free. I went to a meeting, paid a couple dollars to go rub elbows with millionaires. Will it ever happen again? I don't know. But the conversation around people that are on that level is so much different than what you would ever think, that even if you don't do what they're doing, they may say something to you or to the group that you may take that may be the key to the lock, which may be hindering you, or which may had been hindering you this whole entire time, and you never knew it. You never knew it, because at the end of the day, like, they don't speak in excuse. Like, that's not the conversation they speak in. They don't care about the things that haunted you prior to you sitting in front of them. They don't care about that. All they care about is, hey, now that we've met, what are you going to do now? What is your recourse now going forward? So I don't know who's the most successful person that's around you. I don't know if there is somebody that you can reach or a conversation you can go have. But I would personally challenge you to go find whoever that person is around you. Go meet with them and have a conversation. It may cost you a lunch. It may cost you, a ticket to go sit somewhere and just listen to them speak to other people. Don't mean that you have to invest in this or invest in that. It'd be nice, but at the same time, if that's not what your heart is into, don't. But you never know. Actually, I'll take that back. I guarantee you, if you've never done it, you going to go have that one-on-one or sit in that meeting and just go sit there for the word. I guarantee you they're going to say something that you've either thought about, you've either heard before, or you've said out loud to yourself. You just never said it or heard it with conviction. We become our worst enemy. Like, we become like animals of habit. We look around and we have these ideas and we have these thoughts, and these thoughts are $1 million ideas, $1 billion ideas. And what happens is we sit around people that don't have anything going on, and we allow their thought process to get into our psyche, and we begin to doubt ourselves. And then we begin to half step when we know we should be fully stepping the whole time. 6 months later, somebody comes out with the exact same thing that you thought about, or I thought about riding in the car. Because we didn't put the boots to the ground to go push this thing just to go see what would happen. It happens all the time. It happens every day. It's not that guy's fault or the guy next to you's fault, right? Like, we have to get ourselves in situations where we have to push each other in order to get where we need to get to sometimes. And that's not to say that everybody around you doesn't have a role. Some people's role is to try to keep you down in the bottom of the barrel because of that crabs in the barrel mentality. That's just what that is. But there are people that are around you that are accessible. You may not even know that they're accessible. There's people around you that are accessible, that are around you that you can go and just be around. Sometimes just the energy is enough. sometimes you have to see in action what actually is. Being able to go, and if these people that I'm referring to didn't speak because of the person I am, I believe that I could watch them the way that I was, and I would probably get the exact same thing from them without hearing them speak. The command of a room, right? You can't get 60, 70 people, 80 people in a room and everybody be on the same page if you're not doing something right. I'm sitting in this room and there's not one objection in the entire room. Not one. There's not one, hey, yeah, but in the entire room. Not one. Now, don't get me wrong, like there's always going to be detractors to whatever's going on, right? There's always going to have a yin to your yang, 100%. But it's very hard to get that many people in one room to be on the same page for 2 hours, 3 hours, and glued to what it is that you have to say. These people are not it. Like they're not the end all be all. But when you begin to speak about the thought process, thoughts becomes things. When you begin to think about your plan, your structure as to how you want to get to the next level, if you can get to the next level, right? When you start speaking about the obstacles in your way, these people epitomize all of that because you got to start somewhere. But seeing this in action and being around it, it's almost contagious if you want to win in life. Whether you want to win in life or not, it's on you. But if you want to win in life, being around people like that, it's contagious. It's contagious. It's not for everybody. Some people jealous. Some people, don't want to see other people win. It's not for you. I'm not talking about you. We're talking about the people who wake up every day and want to figure it out and try to figure it out. They go out here and do the most because that's what they can do. You know what I mean? There's something else waiting for you. That thought process that you've been having, that idea that you've been keeping to yourself, like there's a way to get to it. There really is a way to get to it. The first part in it is speaking that thing into being. Speaking it into life. Like just talk positive about it. I never met more positive people in my life. And maybe these dudes are million and women are millionaires, so it's a different conversation. But I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's the cynical part of me where I just think that everybody's just not supposed to be positive all the time. But damn it, I was around these people for hours, and I ain't hear a negative comment about the weather or nothing. Right? Like if I'm being honest. So the way you speak will manifest itself in the way you act. The energy that you put out, you will get back. Don't be the hindrance on yourself when there's people around you, right around you, that may be the blueprint and or the key to unlock that one thing that's been holding you back. Undoubtedly it's you, but what is it about you? Is it ultimately just your mentality? Is it the physical part? You don't want to do the footwork. You have the mental, right? You just don't want to do the footwork, right? Like what is it? What is that thing that's holding you back? There's always a way around it. But every way around it entails work. Every single part of it entails work. It entails sacrifice. It entails all these things that you have to give in order to get in return. And above all else, don't chase the money, chase the dream. Chase the dream. Be the dream chaser. Get out here and if your dream is to own a boat, don't shoot for the 30-foot boat. Shoot for the 100-foot yacht. If you shoot for a 100-foot yacht, guarantee you'll get that 30-foot boat, the little fishing boat. Guaranteed. Why? Because all your energy is going to be pushing towards this 100-foot yacht. So if you come up a little bit short, guess where you're going to end up at? At least with a 50-footer. Right? It's all about perspective, and what they said is all about scale. Right? Scale up. Scale up. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is that you don't get the car you want, but it's still a nicer car than everybody you grew up with. Well, what's the trade-off? You're telling me that you're going to be able to get to a place where you can afford these things. You can afford this Maybach. You can afford this Rolls Royce and then go get a Honda Civic just because you couldn't get that Rolls Royce? Like you were $50,000 short, so you got to go get a Honda Civic just to prove the point? No, you're still going to win regardless. You know, gauge your level of winning in increments. Hey, look, decide that you're going to win incrementally. Hey, if I shoot for 100 right now, I might not make it to 50. I have to get my goals to a place where they're accessible first. Hit these small little goals, and then the big goals begin to roll as I go. A lot of times we just think, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna go on out here and it's all or nothing tomorrow. It's not. It's never gonna be all or nothing. Well, correction. It is. 9 times out of 10, it'll probably be nothing. You'll probably end up in jail somewhere. You'll end up in a ditch somewhere, whatever the case may be. You're right. It just won't be the way that you probably think it's gonna go. So, just make goals that are attainable to you. Push yourself, speak with conviction. Speak the positivity into your day. Speak it into your energy. Like, allow yourself those moments of frustration to let that go and try to get back on track, because nobody has good days every day. I'm sure these people that I'm talking about, these people that I've talked to, I'm sure they don't have good days every day. But it's what you do about it once you had that bad moment. Allow that moment to be the moment. Let that rock out, and then let's get back to it. Because at the end of the day, the goal is the goal. One thing they always say in sports is, hey, let that thing be that thing. Whatever that thing is, that's all that matters. Let that thing be that thing. That's it. And you will begin to see a change. As you see that change, once you see the change, right, it becomes easier to stay on track. Easier to push yourself, because you see, you know what, I put a dent in this thing. I can do it. It may take a little bit more sacrifice, right? One of my favorite movies, Transformers, you know, Sam Witwicky, Sector 7, right? No sacrifice, no victory. So at the end of the day, you have to give something to get something. But as long as you can set goals that you can reach, it'll always keep you hungry, because you'll see yourself reaching those goals. You'll gain success. You will be successful. And we gonna ride this wave together. I'm gonna talk to y'all about it. Y'all gonna talk to me about it. So look, I'm out of here. It's late. Humbletalk Podcast, episode 11. It's your boy Feast. I'm out.